Hello and welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 26 and your playthrough of the Baltimore Bee-Holes. We are gearing up for the start of the season. Opening day is tomorrow and we play a little bit after that. We're sitting on almost $70 million. And is it a problem? It's probably not a problem. I just feel weird that I haven't spent that money. Don't think I've ever had that much money available at the beginning of a season. And all of our budgets are maxed out. I can't really do anything there. I've even pumped up the draft budget to 15 million, which is insane. We'll never need that. So, how to get rid of that money? Do we try to buy a player? Well, I did try that. And the AI is just not letting that happen. I'm not sure what the reason for that is. But I can't even buy like a 2.5-star player for this much money. So, that's not going to happen. The other way we can do it, and this is probably something that's going to happen this year, if not today. We're going to go into trade. I'm going to pull up the Giants. Where are they? Giants. If I take on Robbie Ray and almost his entire $25 million, they will throw in Jordan Hicks. He can start. He can relieve. Would be a solid addition to the team. I might have to start him in AAA, to be honest, because the only guy he would replace would be like Manuel Rodriguez, possibly, and Rodriguez seems good. And what would I have to give up? A little bit still, a little more than I'm comfortable with. I just promoted this 16-year-old because he has some development. I'm doing a little experiment this year. It seems like the game is kind of begging for these guys to be promoted to the DSL by giving more of them 1 star. So we're going to see how that works. And I think he's going to have a good personality because it says he focuses on the tasks at hand. So that's indicating that he's going to be positive. So probably never play for me. Jordani Vasquez is just a guy I use to shop for for salary dumps. So he doesn't matter. But Tavian Josenberger in AAA, he matters a little bit. I can't play him, but he's developing really nicely. So I think we're going to keep this trade in my back pocket. I may do something like this. Like let's see, the Phillies have Ranger Suarez and then an $18 million contract they hate in Taijuan Walker, and it's only 1 year left on that. So potentially, I could pick up that deal later on in the season, maybe. Or I could do this one. And I don't have to do it right now. My team's fine. But just to show you, this is an option for offloading a ton of cash. Quick little check-in with our minor leagues. We've got a lot of players who might be ready to come up this year. Guys developing nicely in AA, High A. Unfortunately, Braden Jaska did not make it out of low A ball. His ratings just aren't there. But, we're still holding out hope for him. Got some decent prospects over here. I did promote a pile of 16 and 17-year-olds out of the internationals. We're going to see what happens there. I think the game, by giving these guys all just a tiny bit of development, is maybe signaling that it's okay to put 16 and 17-year-olds down there. I typically just move them over as soon as they turn 18. And this may be a better way to do it. So we're going to find that out. And for the team, it looks a lot like it did last year. Only David Peterson is an addition to the starting rotation. Skubal, Webb, Rodriguez, Gallen, they're back. Scott, Clase, they're back. I'm still going to have Will Vest in this nice little setup niche. He pitched amazing for me last year, so keeping him around. Bazardo, Ferrer, Rodriguez in middle relief, and then Cabrera and Trent Harris, who, it could be that I should be starting him. He's pretty solid. So we might rotate out Peterson for Harris and maybe even for Cabrera. Maybe fool around with that a little bit this year. But it mostly depends on how things go. And let's look at the offense. Griffin Conine will be sticking around to play right field. R.I.P. Kyle Isbell. Brenton Doyle in center. Lars Nootbaar in left. Both, Gold Glover and then very competent over here. Jackson Holiday, great second baseman. Hechavarria, oldie but goodie. The owner would love him. I think he'll be fine this year. He's expensive. He's $6 million. We're taking a risk, and he's around next year also. So we'll see what happens there. Mateo is going to get some innings. I couldn't, in good conscience, cut him just yet because I wasn't totally happy with the number of infielders I had available in my minors. Machado at third, Casas at first. Machado could potentially slot into the outfield with these nice ratings, although it looks like he's lost some range. So that's probably not going to happen. Torkelson at DH, Henry Davis catching. Corey Lee, he has stepped it up. I mean, he played great last year, and his ratings are even better this year. So let's see what happens with Corey Lee. A lot of times catchers can be late bloomers in this game, so we'll find that out. Trey Sweeney, he started most of last year, but I've got to relegate him back to a support role. He can play everywhere if he absolutely has to, especially the infield. He's not developing like I wanted, so Trey Sweeney, a little bit of a disappointment. We've also got Cody Clemens bat. He's looking fine. Not a lot of guys who qualify for my team who have a lot of power. Cody Clemens actually has some of the highest power rating I can even get. So that's why he's on the team. And then newly acquired Tristan Casas at first. The more I sit and simmer on this deal I made with Isbell for him, the better I feel about it. I think this is really going to contribute to the team. It's now April 1st, and we're 3 days out from our opener. Preseason predictions have us winning 92 games this year. That's looking pretty hot. It doesn't think we have any notable hitters, but Skubal and Webb are listed as potential top pitchers. Doesn't mean any of that's going to happen, but it is nice to see. And Dodgers still predicted to be the best team in baseball. However, it looks like the Cubs have gained some ground on them. So that's quite interesting. If I go back to my email and my player development, we see a lot of green here. I'm liking it. One significant one that I want to show you, and that is Fulton Lockhart. So, this is a little TCR for the man. He's 22 years old. He's still in that prime development period. That control's improving. And if he reaches his potential, he's going to be a lot better than a 2.5-star reliever. So looking forward to that. And Fulton Lockhart is now probably my number 2 prospect. It's now May 1st, and we started off 14-11 through our first 25 games, which is not so bad. Starting pitching is looking decent so far. Zach Gallen having a little bit of an issue. And some hiccups in the bullpen. We'll have to give them more innings and see if those smooth over. All is not so well on the offense, however. If we see our most frequent hitter, Spencer Torkelson, through 110 plate appearances, this gentleman is batting 139. He's already generated -1 WAR, and he's even been caught stealing the only time he tried to steal a base. So, we're going to have to do something about that. I've been waiting on him. He's just not doing what we need him to do. I know he's developed. I know he should be breaking out for some power. But I'm really worried about this contract that is coming up on him. If he continues to play terribly, then he's going to be an extremely expensive player. And then if he gets a ratings decline, he's going to be hard to offload. Also, a little disappointing news. Hechavarria, who is, he's hitting them okay at 247. Bad OPS plus. He's got no power, obviously. But here's the concern. So his fielding is declining. And in fact, he's now just a 55 rated shortstop. And we may end up having to do something about that. This is going to end up being a terrible deal, unfortunately. I did also get an email from Jorge Mateo. He's very upset. And I kind of like that because he's 8 hits and 14 plate appearances. So maybe we should make him upset more often. At shortstop, he's 55 rated as well. If we take a look at his ratings, 65 range, 60, 60, 55. Let's compare him to Hechavarria. Clearly better, just a little lacking in the range. But it might be worth giving Mateo another shot at shortstop. Let's see how Trey Sweeney's looking these days. Another 55 rated shortstop. That arm is holding him back just a hair, it looks like. And he hasn't had a whole lot of plate appearances, but he's kind of treading water. So, to deal with the Spencer Torkelson situation, let's see, where is that? I've forgotten where. Here we go. The Cleveland Guardians, they really believe in Spencer Torkelson. I really believe in Bo Naylor. He's somebody I didn't expect to get at all. And in fact, I think he did not start out as a bad personality. If he did, I missed it. As far as I'm concerned, this is just an upgrade. I know he's got a little less power than Torkelson, but he's looking to have better contact if he develops. And, last year he played okay. They are kind of similar players, but the one thing Naylor's got, he's got ability to play a great first base. He's got great catching ratings. In fact, Henry Davis should be getting a little nervous looking at this. But we are going to get rid of Spencer Torkelson. We're going to acquire Bo Naylor. And we're also going to get a throw-in for Hunter Gaddis. Let's see if Cleveland is interested in retaining any of Bo Naylor. Okay. Not that I need it that much, but they'll retain 70% of it, which is cool. We're going to improve our finances, but we don't really need it because we've already got $70 million. Nevertheless, this is a great deal to make. Let's do it, and goodbye, Mr. Torkelson. Hello to our new DH. It is now May 16th. We are 23-15. We're leading the division. Things are going fairly well. Mateo so far is doing well at shortstop. Manny Machado, though, he has hurt his hand. He's going to be out 4 to 5 weeks. So that's a bit unfortunate, but not the worst thing in the world. In other news, we did sign Bo Naylor. Kind of took the same approach as signing Spencer Torkelson, only Naylor was cheaper. We did 5 years, $7.5 million with Naylor. Now, we did cut out a year of team control and arbitration. This is going to end up being kind of expensive. However, if he develops the way that he very well might, and he often does in these saves, it's going to be more than worth it. So we are taking a gamble, and I think the contract is still movable if Naylor falls off. So best of luck, Bo Naylor. We need you. It is now June 2nd, and things are going amazingly well for us. If we check the standings, we're a game and a half clear of the Red Sox, and with 32 wins, it looks like only the Dodgers are surpassing us, and the Marlins kind of coming out of nowhere, playing well also. So, our lineups. We have brought up Zach Geloff to be our everyday third baseman. He's putting up an 83 OPS plus. Could be better, could be worse. I'm not feeling too bad about that move. Jorge Mateo, on fire, really. I mean, there's no fire next to his name, but, he's got a 103 OPS plus. He's hitting 287. Let's check in on his fielding. Positive zone rating. He's not committing too many errors. Mateo doing just great. Of course, Jackson Holliday, as expected, leading the team in WAR. Henry Davis, surprisingly, leading us in OPS plus, at least of our starters. Cody Clemens, hitting him well off the bench with a 167 OPS plus, though not very many plate appearances. Corey Lee's struggling. He's our worst hitter this year, but that's okay. He's earned his spot on the team for at least this year. And then Bo Naylor, slow start. A 212 average, but that's for a 91 OPS plus. So he is hitting for some power, which is nice, and he's drawing some walks. Is Henry Davis getting hit by every pitch in the world this year? No, not this year. I mean, he does lead the team. So that's interesting. Let's go over to the pitching. Tarek Skubal tearing it up. Manuel Clase pitching pretty well. There's been a negative development with Tanner Scott. He has fallen off. And I wasn't quite expecting that to happen at age 31. So we're going to hope for a little recovery from Scott. He's lost a tick on his velo, which is a pretty bad sign. But everybody pitching at least acceptably well for now. Cabrera is really teetering. I'm going to comb through the minors and see if there is anybody who is deserving of a call-up. Hey, is it just me, or is it kind of like cosmically cruel that Ray Chapman holds the record for most sacrifice hits? It is now the 4th of July, and the Baltimore Beeholes are putting up an excellent record, 46-36, but all of our division rivals are killing it. So this puts us in an interesting position. We have had a little bit of a skid here, losing 5 in a row. Dodgers still leading the way. So, yeah, we're going to, despite playing well, we're going to need to play even better. Edward Cabrera is out with an oblique strain for 6 weeks, and that has some nasty ripple effects that I'll get to in a moment. But I want to check in on Gage Wood and just kind of show something. So OSA thinks he is the number 7 prospect, and our scout is a little less high on him. If we go over to OSA, they've done lost their minds. So when I first saw this, I didn't realize that my scouting had flipped back over to default onto OSA. Like, I don't know how to prevent that from happening. It's very annoying. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, he TCR'd. And no, he really didn't. We just have probably a more accurate picture of him with our head scouts rankings. He is tearing it up, pitching quite well, and looking for a promotion as long as this injury isn't too bad. We're going to probably get Gage Wood some time in AAA this year, which would be pretty cool. On the batter's side, Machado's back up. He served out his minor league prison sentence, and so we're going to put him back at third base. Now, Casey Schmidt has been playing third, and he's doing great. I mean, he's hitting for a 118 OPS plus over 104 plate appearances. He's been waiting forever to get back up to the majors. Zach Geloff we had to send down, and I brought up Casey Schmidt to replace him. Geloff was causing a problem in the clubhouse and not hitting the ball well. But I don't know who to demote because we have 14 bats right now. If I send down Cody Clemens, I might be shooting myself in the foot. He has been amazing off the bench for us. Corey Lee is kind of a possibility because Bo Naylor can step in on Henry Davis's off days and catch. Speaking of Bo Naylor, what on earth happened to him? So I guess Out of the Park Baseball decided that anything I do, I should not feel smart for. And I felt really smart for making this trade. But they are making me pay for my hubris by trashing Bo Naylor. So maybe that's why the Guardians were trading him. Who knows? I don't want to send down Trey Sweeney. I mean, he's not hitting great, but he has so much utility in the infield. My utility infielder would be, in that case, Casey Schmidt, and he's got no turn double play. But overall, probably good enough ratings at these positions to back up. So I think that's the direction we're headed. We're probably sending Trey Sweeney back down, unfortunately. And let's look at his contract. He's got plenty of option years left. And he's going to be starting this not expensive, but not cheap contract pretty soon. I mean, he's already into the $2 million range. So we want to give him another chance at development. So it might be good to send down Sweeney. And while it's not something I want to do, I probably have to. On the pitching side, huge shakeup. Edward Cabrera down for 6 weeks with an oblique strain, so we've got to do something about that. And I had pitchers underperforming. Jose Ferrer and Trevor Stefan both had ERAs up in the 8s. They were pitching horribly. And I just had to get them off the roster for a minute. Maybe I should wait that out, but I'm going to give a couple other guys a chance to come back up. So Chandler, Champlain, nothing too beautiful, but he is a good pitcher. Trent Harris, also a good pitcher. We did send him down. He didn't play well, but let's hope he's motivated and ready to go. And that means I have to bring up one more pitcher. And I think the guy for the job is going to be Troy Taylor. He's only 2-star rated, but if I'm looking at these ratings and ignoring his potential, that's just good enough to see a few games in the majors. So he's pitching fine in AAA, and as their closer, he's how many saves? He's put up like 15 saves. Not that matters too much, but walking a lot of guys, which is unfortunate. I think that's above expectation for 45 control. So I think that's just a little bit of bad luck, even though he does have a history of walking a lot of people like he did last year. But we're going to give him a shot anyway while Cabrera's mending. And maybe Jose Ferrer will catch fire. Maybe Michael Forret will catch fire. We could always bring up Hunter Gaddis, who we traded for earlier, who we're not super excited to bring up, but certainly a possibility. And then there is always Ben Shields. How's he pitching them? Nothing remarkable, but, his underlying ratings are pretty good. And so it might also be time to give Ben Shields a shot. It does stink to kind of be experimenting with our pitching at a time when we're really in the thick of it. But I'm not sure that we have any other choice. We've really got to put this team on a course and go for it. So we're going to hope the offense keeps holding up. Henry Davis, 150 OPS plus. Just remarkable. Jackson Holliday leading us in WAR through a combination of his offense and defense. And Henry Davis is back to getting hit by every pitch in the world. It is July 11th, and it is time for the draft. So we're 50-38. We won an important 3-game series against the Yankees, but then dropped a couple to Chicago. So at least we're only 3.5 games back now. Offense is playing well. Our pitchers are doing just fine. One thing that's not super duper fine is the draft. So, as you can see, let me apply the filter here. And it's not looking as great as it did last year. I will double check maybe that I'm not missing any good personalities. But my first round pick's probably going to be like one of these 3-star pitchers, like a Cameron Flukie or something like that. So let's go ahead and clear our filter and switch this over to personality and morale. And of course I have to add in the custom overall potential, obviously, and then get rid of these and add adaptability. So, yeah, it's not looking like I missed anybody. So yeah, this draft is just going to be a little short on players with negative personalities, which is fine because we made out like a bandit last year. But let's take a quick peek at the top guys. So Grady Emerson, well, isn't that interesting? Our scout and OSA could not be further apart. Check on Brady Harris. A little closer. And here's a shortstop, Alex Harrington. Okay, somebody is getting fired. What is going on here? Okay, so a lot of variance going on there. Let's look at Jamie Arnold. Our scout doesn't agree at all with OSA, but he's probably about equally valuable. All right, so nothing quite as interesting as last year. Ethan Holiday did not sign, which I found quite interesting. He isn't back this year in the draft either, which is also interesting. So not sure what's going to happen there. But I say we go ahead and get this puppy started. So first round pick Grady Emerson by St. Louis. At least they did something reasonable. And we're going to draft for Chicago. And then that's going to be Alex Harrington. And according to my scout and OSA, who's crazy, but my scout also thinks he's probably the best player to take in the draft. And Chicago with their next pick, picking up Brady Harris, totally reasonable. And Miami is going to pick up center fielder Drew Burress, quite expected. And San Diego is going to pick up shortstop Tyler Spangler. Interesting pick. So let's see who's left after it gets to round 24. Okay, there are more players here than I expected. Very interesting. So let me go ahead and customize this, get my shortlist guys. I mean, this is just the first pick, right? I don't see anything else to do here. So again, starting pitchers being undervalued, which does give me great value in my first pick. Yeah, we're not going to go with Matt Ponatoski, I don't think. That means we lose out on him, though. We don't think he's that crazy of a development risk. Even still, even knowing that I'm not going to get him and that I'm not going to get any sort of quality offensive player in this draft, it looks like, I still think we probably have to go with Gabe Geckel. He's partly developed. I'm going to need pitching. I'm always going to need pitching. You can never have too much. Cameron Flukie is not quite as good. I'll check the 3-star guys first before I commit, but whoops. Kyle Johnson. Okay. Yeah, they're all fine. I mean, they would all make great picks, but all around, I just like what I see out of Geckel. So we're grabbing the Geckel, and he's 4.6 million. That's fine. No, I don't need to save money. I've got all the money in the world. So yeah, we will just offer the slot. And round 2 comes around, and mother of pearl, how is he still here? Because OSA doesn't think he's quite as good as I do, I guess. All right. Can't pass up a shortstop 3-star potential second pick. Let me make sure there's no other, like, super hot infielders in here. And I'm not seeing any. So we are going to grab the last viable infielder. He wants 750,000 only. So yeah, let's meet that demand. And now we get into the 2.5-star guys, and there's just not very many of them left, so it won't be quite as difficult. So first we're going to check anybody who's not a pitcher. So Landon Stripling, not a guy you want to pick up early. I mean, he's not a third-round guy by any means. Sam Harris, kind of the same deal, only his defense is... Oof. There is a center fielder, Bristol Carter. I like the defense, but, you know, the offense is not getting it done. Jake Brown is definitely not a pitcher, but looks to be a pretty decent outfielder, and his bat's just a little better. Peyton Bonds has got the power potential. He's got good enough fielding. So what's the approach here? I think it might be reasonable to pick somebody with just the highest upside, because there is not value here, not like known, dependable value. And nobody, it looks like, with both contact and power other than Landon Stripling, who is probably a decent pick, but he's just so vanilla. He's got that leader trait, which is pretty wonderful. Let's look at the personality of Peyton Bonds. He's also got the leader trait and the high work ethic. Slam dunk right here. So, yeah, this pick is, you're hoping for development. That's it. We're going to meet his demand. And we're going to move on to pick number 4. And Landon Stripling? Yeah. Gosh, a first baseman, though. Why am I picking a first baseman? Let's Let's look at all the pitchers. Let me see if I can find a starter that I like still. Yeah, they're starting to go now. So nobody with velo, really. Patrick Spencer. We would need a pretty big improvement in that control. Low leader, low work ethic is not the absolute worst, but not amazing. Colin Fisher, I don't like that he only has 3 pitches. I do like that Trey Beard has 4 pitches, but he just pitches too slowly. I mean, these guys are all 21 years old, too. Cameron Haynes got a little more velocity potential, but again, only 3 pitches. Nothing stands out about him as being particularly interesting. So let's look at the hardest throwers here. Okay, this is really standing out to me. Yeah, Patrick Spencer. And let's look at Nathan Taylor as well. I'll take the better control on the extra pitch. All right, no, it's not better control. It's worse control. Yeah. All right. Then we're going to go for the young guy. The young guy who's got a little bit of an arm. Whew, he's demanding a lot of money, but that doesn't really matter to us. So that's our 4th round pick. And our 5th round pick might end up being made for us if there is any decent batter left in the draft. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take the best bat. And before I absolutely commit to that, I am going to look at the fielding ratings, see if there's any phenomenal catchers who have reasonable bats, and there are not. Okay, so Landon Stripling it is. Boy, this has been a much simpler draft to do than the previous one. So if any super interesting player happens to show up that I missed, and I really don't think I missed anybody special, I will come back and we'll check that out. And we will do that in the next part. So once again, thank you for watching. We're having a great time trying to get through season number 2. We're in the thick of it. The draft is not going well. A little bit of the pitching stuff in the relievers is not going super well, but my hitters are hitting, and so my team is producing. And so I look forward to the second half of the season and getting things going. I really do think we have the tools to take it all down this year. So hope you'll join me for that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. So long and take care.